In this video, I will give you all 6 players that you need to succeed in under 5 minutes for the single game Showdown captain mode tonight on DraftKings as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers roll into New York in an attempt to once again prove that Brady ain't need no Belichick. My name's Quick Pick Nick, and having simulated dozens of thousands of different lineup combinations and roster builds, here are your locks and lotteries for Monday Night Football tonight, November 2nd, 2020. If you like this kind of fast-paced calculated content, subscribe and stay tuned for more lineups throughout the season, including a Thursday Night Football video coming soon. Starting off the lineup with a lock, my model recommends the player who has the most to prove and least to lose in this matchup. The 43-year-old who's looking better now than he was when he was 23, the giver and taker away of the Patriots' 2-decade-long dynasty, Tom Brady. Brady was off to a rough start at the beginning of the season, and people began questioning his ability immediately, throwing 3 picks in the first 2 games. Does Brady still have it? Is he washed? Can he play somewhere else? Is he any good without Bill Belichick? Are all questions that doubters had in those early weeks. Those questions were soon answered though, as the narrative has radically shifted over the past few weeks, as Brady handily beat a previously undefeated Green Bay Packers team in Week 6 and continued to dominate the Raiders in Week 7, recording just a tenth of a point short of 40 fantasy points on the day. If anyone was going to be able to stop Brady at this point, well, looking at it from a storyline perspective, it'd be the Giants, as they were able to shut him down not once, but twice in the Super Bowl. But looking at it through an analytical lens, as I always do, the Giants have no chance tonight, a claim that is only supported by the 13-point spread favoring the Buccaneers. The Giants are currently last place in the NFC East. It certainly seems like a steamroll is inevitable for Brady and his new Floridian home. Moving on, the next 2 locks will actually be presented together, just as they are presented in Tampa Bay's game plan. The next 2 locks are Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. It might seem odd taking both running backs from the same team in one lineup, as the expectation would be for one to cannibalize the other's share of carries. However, Bruce Arians and the Buccaneers offense have seemingly found a way to allow the two to work in harmony without affecting the other's production. Last week, Jones rushed 13 times for 34 yards, which sounds dull, but one of those attempts included a touchdown, bringing his point total to above 10 on the day. Fournette was also able to put up solid numbers last week, rushing 11 times for 50 yards and catching 6 of his 7 targets for 47 more yards. It seems that Arians is committed to Jones at this point in the season, and it'd be a little bit weird for him just to stop using him this week against such a non-threatening opponent. I'd also find it weird for Arians not to incorporate Leonard Fournette at all, the once top-tier running back in the league just a few short years ago. It is clear that both backs will continue to be utilized, and as such, we should be able to expect them both to have ample opportunity to get the job done. In addition, we can almost guarantee at least a touchdown from the pair here, as either of them will likely be able to push that goal line score for the Buccaneers at some point tonight. Moving on to the lotteries, my model chose Scottie Miller as a relatively more expensive wide receiver on DraftKings. Miller has been quite the breakout in Tampa Bay, as he has managed 4 games over 70 receiving yards in his 6 contests so far. The reason for his lottery designation is due to his inconsistency, as outside those 4 games, the other 2 included no more than 11 yards in each. He was good last week though, with 109 yards and a touchdown, and shouldn't have an issue with this Giants secondary, ranking 21st in pass yards allowed per game. The second lottery here is Tyler Johnson, as for only $4,800 on DraftKings, he has the potential to get at least some value on the night. Aside from his first 2 contests, which ended without a target, Johnson has averaged nearly 9 fantasy points per game over the past 3 weeks. His low cost fits the budget, and around 9 points is well worth someone in his price range, allowing us to get Graham Gano for $3,600, rounding out the lineup nicely with a clean $50,000. You'll notice this lineup is rather Buccaneer heavy, which is mainly due to that early spread I mentioned, having Tampa Bay favored by almost 2 full touchdowns, and the Giants overall below average mediocrity. If you think this kind of player packing from just one team will result in our options stealing points from each other, which could definitely happen even though their projections are all relatively high, there are a couple Giants players found in other combinations. Golden Tate, for one, is a very cheap $3,000 player you might find in an alternate lineup, although he may find some competition now that Sterling Shepard is back for the Giants, or Daniel Jones at quarterback, who is priced much cheaper than Brady at only $9,200 on DraftKings, but will have his value capped due to Tampa Bay's #1 ranked defense in rush yards allowed per game, which is the main area in which Danny Dimes is able to make up for his inaccuracies. In any case, the first lineup is the top ranked option by projected fantasy points out of my thousands of simulations, so I'll be going with that one. This has been Quick Pick Nick, the intersection for sports, data analysis, and speed. Thanks for watching.